Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Coach the Coach Radio. Brought to you by the Business RadioX Ambassador Program, the no-cost business development strategy for coaches who want to spend more time serving local business clients and less time selling them. Go to brxambassador.com to learn more. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Coach the Coach Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. Today on the show, we have Ivy Kaminsky, and she is with Elevate with Ivy. Welcome, Ivy.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us about a little bit about your practice. How are you serving folks?
Absolutely. So with my coaching business, Elevate with Ivy, I am serving them a number of different ways. I have events. I have 3-month, 6-month, and 9-month coaching programs. I do tarot readings, and I also have an online course that I'm launching on the 17th of January called Foundations for Greatness, from Self-Limiting to Self-Worth.
Now, how did you get into this leadership and self-love coaching?
Yeah. So my story, I was raised by an alcoholic mother who, I like to say, chose men poorly. And there was something happened that was pretty pivotal when I was about 9. My mom was fighting with my stepdad, or they were fighting, and he was abusing her. And I decided to get in between them and try to stop them. And I really just wanted, to protect my mother, who I loved more than anything. And, maybe not very smart, but that day, for whatever reason, I decided that no matter what, I would never let someone treat me that way. And it kind of led me on a journey to figure out why someone would settle for that kind of treatment. And what I realized is that my mom didn't have any sense of worth or value, and she ultimately didn't believe she deserved any better. And obviously, she couldn't teach me what she didn't possess. So I have really spent my entire life learning how to build my own sense of worth and to choose myself and my well-being so that I can live fully in my power. Because I think we're all on a journey of self-awareness and discovery and growth. And just far too often, especially as women, we are, we base our value on external factors, like how much money we make, where we went to school, how many followers we might have on social media, our relationship status, our weight, et cetera, fill in the blanks. And I know that true self-worth is about our innate value that we all just have because we're human, just because we were born. But truly feeling that solid sense of worthiness is not something that comes easily to most people, strictly based on the way that we're all wired. So basically, we're all walking around with a bunch of limiting beliefs that are holding us back. And we may not even know that or be aware of that. And so for myself as a lifelong learner, I really love sharing all of my knowledge and my tools with the women I coach to help them feel a solid sense of worth, because I know the difference that it makes in their lives. And when you have that true sense of worth and value, everything falls into place, and really anything is possible. You can make more money and take better care of yourself. You can listen to your intuition and follow your purpose, have really clear boundaries, and see your fear patterns or what keeps you small, and learn how to move through them.
Now, what do you think was the reason you were able to grow up in kind of, I would want to say dysfunctional in the most positive way possible, because you came out of it in a great way. How were you able to kind of feel a sense of self-worth to go on this type of journey when other people might be in the same situation, and maybe your mother was in a similar situation for herself and couldn't? What separates the people that can kind of become that lifelong learner and have the self-worth to kind of go on a journey that you've gone on?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think it really comes down to choice, and to, not be a victim, to kind of choose something other than blaming everybody else and everything else that happens to you, the horrible things that happen to us in life, everybody has horrible things that happen to them. But it's not about those things don't necessarily define you. You get to define you, and the actions that you make in your life define you. So you can either, blame those things and feel like poor me, or you can say, you know what, that's just something that happened to me, and I'm going to, make different choices so that I can be the creator of my life rather than just being, just reacting to things every day.
Now, do you think that that's kind of the critical linchpin mindset shift that has to occur in order to kind of go on this journey of self-worth and growth?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the main ones. I also think you need to be open and, open to learning. I think you need to be self-aware and kind of really be willing to take a hard and deep look at yourself and what you might want to change. And, if you need to change, I think it's a combination of, of choosing, of being open to learning, and of taking the actions to make change, because just because you want something doesn't mean it happens. You also have to be willing to put in the work and change your habits every day. And, it doesn't happen overnight. So it's all those things combined, I think are what kind of where the magic happens.
Now, do you work with a certain type of person? Like, do you work with entrepreneurs? Do you work with self-employed, primarily women? What is there kind of a niche that you serve?
Absolutely. So I mostly work with what I call leaders, lady bosses, and soulpreneurs. And my clients are definitely usually women that are oftentimes burnt out, working too hard, maybe not taking care of themselves, or they might be struggling to find more purpose in their life and their work. Sometimes they want to quit drinking or heal their relationship with food, and they know that it's a deeper issue. Because of everything that I've been through, I feel like I can be a good example to others of what's possible. And I've also had a lot of loss in my life, including the loss of a child at full term, which has really forced me to look at my life and see what was working and what wasn't. And because of that loss, I was kind of like, and it was, I'd lost both parents and a son. And I was like, why does this keep happening? Like, what is the lesson to be learned here? Because I was kind of to the point of like, no more, please. I can't take any more of this loss. So what is the lesson? And what I came to realize is that, it's kind of cliche, but life is just too short. And, because of that, I really took a hard look, and I decided to start a nonprofit so that I could have more fulfilling work. I got divorced, and I really just continued to grow and push myself. So, yeah, I know the struggles that we all face, and I also know what it takes to overcome them.
And what are some of the symptoms that your prospective clients are having where you're a good fit to help them through it? Is it that they're in some sort of a transition, or they feel that kind of a sense of, I don't want to say desperation, but maybe a sense of things are getting out of control?
Yeah, it really depends on the person. Sometimes people just know, they want their life to change. They just want to see something different. And they're just kind of feeling stuck and tired and, want more out of life. They want more purpose, or they just are tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, they want to turn some things around. So it really kind of depends, but people just usually know, when it's time to make some big changes. And sometimes they have a kind of a catalyst, something big that happens like I did. And sometimes it's just all the little things adding up.
Now, you shared the story of your transformation. Is there any transformation you can share of a client? Obviously, don't name their name, but maybe share the before and after of what they were struggling with and how after working with you, they got to a new level?
Absolutely. So some of the different, the transformations depend on the client, and they're not all the same, but a couple of the ones that come to mind, one of my clients, I think, maybe because of seeing me doing the same thing, but decided that they wanted to quit drinking and really basically do an overhaul of their entire life. And so after our working together and a lot of kind of trial and error and figuring out how to to be successful in that in everyday life. They've come to a place of much better health and well-being and better boundaries, and just kind of seeing the reverberations across all areas of their life. I have another one who came to me feeling super burnt out, kind of in a career transition, and just not even knowing if they should stay in the same industry anymore, just being really frustrated and not being able to say no at work and working all kinds of hours and not getting paid very well. And then after working together, she ended up getting recruited for a really awesome job where she was able to, for the first time, negotiate a much higher salary and for less hours. So it really kind of depends on what kind of growth people are looking for. But those are a couple of them.
Now, do you find, I'd like to, maybe you can help our listeners that are struggling. When you are kind of struggling with something and you do get help, do you find that person who goes through that process, all of a sudden opportunities start presenting themselves and things become clearer because you've kind of eliminated some of this baggage or some of the friction or noise that's in your life? And if you can remove some of that, then all of a sudden you start seeing the world a little differently, and different things that may have always been there, you're seeing them slightly differently, and they're opening up different types of opportunities.
Absolutely. That's what I would call signs and synchronicities. And I think the more that we listen, the more that we tune in, like first you have to be open to it, and then you have to be tuned into it. But, listening to your intuition, and then kind of feeling a sense of being part of something bigger than yourself, and maybe having a relationship with divine source or your higher power or whatever you might call that. I think all of those things coming together, when you're really working on yourself, you start to see the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, and really life starts working for you rather than, against you. And those magic things happen. You start getting, collaborating with people you've always wanted to. And I just think the universe comes to meet you at where you're at. And because you're at maybe a better, more healthy place, then just better things are happening. And that's definitely a great part of it, a great benefit of it.
Do you think that things are happening, and you, even if you're not in a great place, they're happening all around you, you're just not seeing it or you're not open to it? But it's the fact that you're kind of opening your eyes to this and becoming more self-aware that all of a sudden now, a rainbow of colors is around you that maybe have always been there, you just haven't been recognizing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we're always being kind of nudged in a certain direction, in the direction of our purpose and of our divine, purpose in this life. But most of the time we're not listening. And so that stuff is always happening around you, but you have to be open to it, and you have to be doing the work to hear it and see it. And I definitely think that it's there regardless, but the more you can tune in, the
more you benefit from it, because I believe it's all there around you. It's just a matter of you kind of being aware of it and going out and grabbing it instead of repelling it. For sure. And that's the more you can be taking good care of yourself, maybe meditating, doing yoga, like whatever taking care of yourself looks like for you, the more you can hear those nudges, and the more you can tune into and tap into that inspiration and creativity that comes, more magically when you're not really stuck in the basic necessities of life. If you're worried about how you're going to eat today, your basic needs, you can't think of, your higher aspirations. But when you have that luxury, like it's all around you, if you can tune in and listen, and the more beautiful, I think, synchronicities happen when you're doing the work, when you're open to it, when you're listening, when you're receptive. Well, Ivy, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing such important work, and we appreciate you. If somebody wants to get on your calendar and learn about your courses or the stuff you have going on, is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, so my website is under construction, but people can see all of my offerings at my scheduling site, which is elevatewithivy.bookify.com. They can also connect with me on LinkedIn at Elevate with Ivy. And I'm doing a virtual event tomorrow at 4:00 Central, Call to Clarity 2022. And you can find that on Eventbrite.
Good stuff. And then your main website, when it gets working, is elevatewithivy.com. That there'll be kind of the central location to get in contact with you down the road.
Absolutely. Yeah, actually should be very, very soon. Yes.
Good stuff. Well, thank you again for sharing your story today.
You are absolutely welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Coach the Coach Radio.